We've spent the last few days living out of a van and travelling around the Scottish Highlands. Sadly, our epic Scotland road trip is soon coming to an end, but not before we visit what is arguably the home of Scotland's most beautiful sights, the Isle of Skye.
I just don't think we were expecting this from Scotland.
And of course, we can't leave Scotland without visiting the Real Life Hogwarts Express.
It was spectacular. We have now officially made it across to the Isle of Skye, meant to be one of the most beautiful parts, if not the most beautiful part of Scotland. We have so many places we want to visit here. We're still deciding if we're going to do just today or if we're going to spend the whole day here tomorrow as well. But we're going to head to our first stop now and check it out, and then we'll see how we're going for time.
We've now made it to Fairy Springs, which is like a series of mini waterfalls that are meant to be pretty spectacular here on the Isle of Skye. We've got a fair walk ahead of us. We're currently battling this downhill walk, and then we've got a pretty decent uphill one as well. It should be worth it.
Turns out we underestimated how far this walk was. It seems to go on and on and on with all these small little pools of water and little mini waterfalls. We don't know where it ends. We keep going, oh, let's go to the top of that next hill and then we'll decide, and then it just keeps going. So we might keep walking a little bit longer. It's very pretty. We were not dressed the part. I've already shedded 2 layers. I think Rosh is about to shed a layer. It's not warm outside, but we've done almost, I think, a bit over 1.5 kilometers so far, which we'll have to do back. Plus we're still going, so might end up being like a 4 kilometer walk in total, but definitely worth it. This is so pretty, and I think one of the cool things about visiting the fairy pools, probably not this time of year, maybe more in the summer, is that I think you can actually swim in these little pools of water. And I mean, look at the views behind me. I mean, that's a pretty nice swimming spot. You can definitely see the hints of blue and green in the water. It's very, very pretty. I mean, look at this. These views. So nice. It's not enjoyable. Absolutely saturated.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that my raincoat's not waterproof. I'm feeling some leakage.
We gotta go all the way back there.
Woo! Well, the rainstorms here in Scotland leave as quick as they come on. It was about 5 minutes where it was just absolutely pouring, and now it's beautiful again. That seems to be the theme. Every day we've had a couple rain showers that last like 5-10 minutes, and then it's beautiful again. Yesterday we had some bright blue skies, and then rain, and then bright blue skies, and then rain. I can see some blue peeping through behind me, but unfortunately we are on our way back because it was raining so much. So we didn't walk quite as far as we would have liked. I think we walked about 2 kilometers in, and it'll be about 2 kilometers back. Would have liked to go a bit further, but we didn't know how long it was going to rain for, but we've learned our lesson now. It'll leave quickly, hopefully. But now we have to go back to our van and change because we are absolutely saturated.
Guys, it's actually the next morning. I've got some things to do because we stayed at a campsite. Now, because we stayed at another campsite last night, it means we can refill things that need to be refilled, like the water. Empty things that need to be emptied, like the toilet, which we're not looking forward to. And plug into electricity, which is always fantastic.
You got this. Heavy? It's like a little suitcase. It has wheels.
It's going to splash on for obvious reasons, and because we respect you guys, the filming ends here.
We've just left our campsite in Portree on the Isle of Skye today, and we are heading to our first of many stops. Breakfast on the go again. We're very, very excited to explore more of this beautiful place. We've come to see the Old Man of Storr. It looks pretty beautiful in photos, so I'm very excited to see. But the views on the way up, to be honest, are worth it alone. It's so pretty up here. It seems we're in our outdoor era here in the Isle of Skye. We're not hikers or trekkers or anything like that, but we're on our second kind of smallish hike of our time in the Isle of Skye, but already the views are worth it when like nowhere near the top. It's kind of cool, this hike. They have 2 different routes. One is like slightly harder, one's the more moderate. We're doing the slightly harder one, which seems to be uphill the whole way. I think the moderate one is like sections of uphill and then sections of flat, but it's meant to take about 40 minutes to get up, so we'll keep moving. I don't want
We are about halfway through our hike. We're getting pretty high up. It's going to be a lot more enjoyable on the way down, I think. But it's interesting. It kind of feels like the ground is a bit bouncy, and I'm wondering if that's because there's like a lot of moisture in the earth. I'm not sure. Let me know if you know in the comments down below. I was reading a sign about these huge rock formations, and the one that everyone comes to see is the Old Man of Storr. And I believe that they are, or they used to be, or were formed as lava flows, and they can be up to 30 meters wide. So they're these huge rock formations formed millions of years ago. It's just crazy to think that there was a time where volcanic activity was so prevalent and rock formations like this just happened and survived through the Ice Age until now, millions and millions of years later.
How on earth are there sheep all the way up here?
I think they got up and couldn't get down.
Probably. I mean, there's lots of... Do sheep eat grass? Because there's lots of it.
Guys, do you think I can hang out with you while Stace goes to the top? I'm wrecked. We came from the road all the way down there, up towards the lava flows, along this ridge with the sheep, and now we're going up there. Well guys, we made it to the top about 45 minutes to an hour later. It was a pretty tough hike. Tough in terms of incline. Terrain was totally fine, and it was really a rewarding hike too, because along the way it's really beautiful. It's not like it's only beautiful at the top. Having said that, it is extremely beautiful at the top. Check out these views.
I have to say the two paths met up a lot earlier than I was expecting, and you get to a point where it's pretty much just stairs all the way to this top viewpoint, so just be mindful of that. Even if you take the more moderate route, you kind of still have to do the hardest bit anyway, so it doesn't really matter in my opinion which route you do, but it is so pretty up here. It's pretty chilly, but absolutely beautiful in every direction. For some reason, it's reminding me a lot of Mount Kinabalu. Are you getting that vibe? That was a hike we did in Borneo, like a proper hike, like you had to summit, 2-day hike, but just kind of the rock formations. I don't know, it was kind of similar. That was no kind of grass at the top, very much just like rock, but I don't know, it's just giving me those vibes, but like that mashed with the cliffs of Moa, I think, with the green.
I wouldn't know because I didn't make it all the way to the summit of Mount Kinabalu because somebody left me behind.
Yes, very sad. Anyway.
And now it's time to go all the way back down. But at least we've got a warm fan and some aero hot chocolate waiting for us.
I think we've picked the right time to come down because it feels like it's dropped about 10 degrees all of a sudden. It's so cold, it's so windy. But look at that view. I feel like the camera's not doing it justice. It is incredible up here. You absolutely have to do this if you come to Scotland. It is beautiful. My legs are pretty sore, but that was pretty epic. But it's almost midday now, and that was our first stop of the day of many, so better get moving. We have now come about 10 minutes up the road from the store to see Mealt Falls and the Kilt Rock. It's an incredibly beautiful coastline, again reminding me somewhat of the Cliffs of Moher, not quite the Cliffs of Moher, but the waterfall is quite beautiful. Beautiful views. We're in luck with the weather so far today, no rain as of yet, touch wood, but absolutely beautiful views out here. Well, we just had the most delicious lunch ever. There is not a lot around on the Isle of Skye. It is mostly just the beautiful scenery that we've been seeing. But we found this place that was about 10 minutes from Mealt Falls and the Kilt Rock called Mackenzies stores. It kind of looked like a hybrid general store slash petrol station slash takeaway food place. And we went and had really good reviews, and they have these amazing Indian curries. They had vegetable samosas, they had kebabs. So we had a lovely vegetable lentil curry with some vegetable samosas, and it was so good. So good. It's just like this little side of the road, tiny place. I'd describe it as a general store with a little kitchen where they cook up these incredible Indian dishes, and it was so good, exactly what we needed. I think pretty much everyone who was driving past ended up stopping in for some food because, like I said, there's not a lot around, so you kind of have to drive quite far to get food depending on where you are. So everyone, if you are on the Isle of Skye and you're around on the kind of northeast coast, make sure you check out Mackenzies stores. To get to so many of these spots on the Isle of Skye, it is these like dodgy as one-way roads, which they do have a lot, very frequent pull-in zones so you can get around people, but there are so many of them. As I'm speaking, we've come at a deadlock with a car. Success. But anyways, they've very quickly become Rosh's least favourite thing in Scotland.
Well, also because every single one of these really thin roads have so many potholes.
They're very hard to navigate, admittedly, and they are not built the best. So often when you do have to pull to the side, it is just pothole central. So we've had a few bumpy journeys since arriving on the Isle of Skye, but I mean, for these views out the window, it's definitely worth it. We're heading now to Quiraing. Don't know how it's pronounced. We'll check when we get there. Meant to be incredibly beautiful. It was easily on the top of everyone's to-do list here on the Isle of Skye. There are a bunch of different hikes you can do. We've done our hiking for the day. We're tired and we're sore, so we probably won't do any of the longer ones. I read some people did like 3-hour ones. We're too tired, but we also don't really have time for that. But there is a nice 5 to 10 minute walk to a viewpoint, which is apparently worth it in itself. So we're gonna head and do that. We've parked at Quiraing. I did look up the pronunciation, although I think it's a bit up in the air. There's a few different ones, but we'll go with Quiraing. Now, like I said, we're not doing any big treks, but there are 2 different viewpoint treks. We're going to start with the moderate one, which says about 10 minutes, and then I think there's an even easier one that's only like 3 minutes or something. I mean, the way up was stunning, so it's going to be very nice. Have a nice view, and then we'll keep moving. Saying to each other that we think the Isle of Skye might be one of, if not the most beautiful place we've ever been, especially here at Quiraing. I mean, I can't even imagine going up the trails further and getting even higher and getting even more of a view, because the view from right here, which is about not even 10 minutes from the car park, is absolutely incredible. It's so beautiful. You can just see so far. You can hardly see any houses or buildings. It's just so natural here on the Isle of Skye. Like I said earlier, like a lot of the roads are one way. It's often just like one road that you have to follow, like you have to backtrack to get to other places, because it just feels so untouched here, and it's just kind of nothing like anywhere we've ever been before. It's absolutely incredible.
I just don't think we were expecting this from Scotland. Like, who knew that Scotland had such beautiful landscape? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people did know, but if you didn't, you heard it here. It is worth coming to Scotland 100%, not just to Edinburgh, because you got to go and check out the beautiful mountains and volcanic rock. I don't know, we did a road trip around Ireland last year, obviously a totally different country, but a similar area on the earth, and we loved it. It was absolutely beautiful. So I don't know why we didn't expect Scotland to be just as beautiful, if not more.
Rosh and I will often say that we're like the same person, and I literally just said to her, that road is, and she knew exactly what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that road looks like that old video that you used to send to people as like a prank, where it's just a car driving along and then all of a sudden that like monster pops up. So we mentioned those one-way roads here in the Isle of Skye, and while it's, you know, I mean, I feel like there's no benefit to them. let me start from there. But we really just felt the downside of it. We accidentally came out of the car park from Quiraing in the direction we came in because we thought that was the way to go. Turns out we were meant to go on a different road, and our 25-minute journey turned into a 50-minute journey because it was so many kilometers before maps thought we were able to turn around. because it was just a one-way road. Fortunately, Rosh was able to do a 3-point turn in some sort of driveway of some sort. We're back on track, but if you do take a wrong turn on the Isle of Skye, you might be driving for a very long time in the wrong direction.
Good luck. It's not just the single lane roads that you have to worry about or the potholes. Often there is wildlife, or maybe not wildlife, livestock on or very close to the road as well. Hello, sir. Beep, beep. Is this going to be the next 27 hours? My God, we made it. Whew. Wow, what a view.
And for our final stop of the day, we have come to the Fairy Glen, not to be confused with the fairy pools. Different places. This one is formed by an ancient landslip, and it's given all these different hilly formations. There are some smaller hills down there and then some really quite big ones behind me. Again, as with everything on the Isle of Skye, it's super pretty here. The little walking trail to get here didn't take very long at all. Just these unique natural formations. It's kind of crazy, like I've not really seen anything like this. Especially these bigger hills. They're so unique. Even the smaller ones are pretty cool as well.
I saw a fairy.
Really?
Yeah. It said to say subscribe. So I'm getting two vibes from Fairy Glen. First vibe, Shrek could definitely live here. Second vibe, it's been a long time since I watched the Lord of the Ring movies, but I feel like the hobbits could live here. I'm getting that feel. Like the hills are a little bit almost spherical, very grassy. Very picturesque. It wouldn't be a bad place to live.
Well, isn't that film in New Zealand?
Yeah, it was, which is interesting. And just like that, we are off the Isle of Skye. Set up camp in this little car park on the edge of the coast of the mainland of Scotland. Stacey's cooking up a really nutritious dinner of taco salad. We're gonna rest after a really big day. What's that?
Deliciousness in a pan. It's refried beans. They didn't have any black beans, unfortunately. It's not going to look appetizing, but I'm sure it's going to taste good.
Bon appetit. Comment down below if you think this doesn't look appetizing.
It should look better. It's just deal with it. Good morning, guys, for our last full van day. Now I'm a bit out of breath. I'm rushing to our first stop of the day. I am solo. We come to see the Glenfinnan Viaduct, which if you don't know, was used as the Hogwarts Express in the Harry Potter movies. And I'm out of breath because I'm running, because the train comes in about 10 minutes. And I'm not at the viewpoint. We were a little late getting moving this morning and the car park was full, so Rush has dropped me off, but I can already see the bridge is absolutely beautiful. It comes at 10:45. It's currently 10:37. So trying to make my way up to the upper viewpoint if I can. As expected, there are a lot of people here. They do suggest coming very early because, like I said, the car park does fill up and we're here in the off season, so it's not as busy, but during summer, apparently this whole area is just full of people and Harry Potter fanatics. So get here early, get a park. There's not actually any other places to park near here either, so you can't even park somewhere else and walk up. Got absolutely no idea how Rosh and I are going to find our way back to each other, but we'll work it out later. But for now, I have this beautiful view and we sit and wait for this train to come. And just like that, the train is gone. It was pretty beautiful. It did stop at kind of the entrance to the viaduct, presumably for the people on the train to take some photos, but it didn't stop on the viaduct. I've read sometimes it will stop on the viaduct so people can take photos, but it was running a little late today, so I imagine it didn't have much time to spare. But I've also read that sometimes it doesn't actually have a lot of steam, but today they did lots of puffs of steam for us, which was really cool to see. It looks identical to the Hogwarts Express, which as a Harry Potter fan, that was pretty special to see. Definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend getting here early so you can pick your best spot, scope it out, and not be in a rush like me. But absolutely beautiful out here, and now watching just hundreds of people file out that I didn't even know were here because I must have stopped at a certain point and a lot of people kept going. Definitely worth the visit. And now I'm just going for a wander right under the viaduct. It is massive. It is so cool. Feels way bigger than the big famous train that we saw in Sri Lanka. Feels much, much taller. Just look at this. Stand right under it. I feel like it's not doing justice just how tall it is, but it is absolutely spectacular. Look at that view. It was spectacular. I felt a little bit emotional. I do love Harry Potter, and seeing something that is so real from the movies was really, really cool. Don't do what we did and look up the schedule on the day because, like I said, we almost missed it. I'm so glad we didn't miss it. That was really, really cool. I think in summer it gets absolutely packed and there are a lot of people dressed up in their Harry Potter robes, but a lot of non-Harry Potter fans come to see this train as well because it's so old-fashioned. I've not seen a steam train like that. It was really cool to check out. Well, after a somewhat successful morning, making it just in time to see the steam train, the rest of our day is not quite going to plan, but we're happy it was today and not yesterday because yesterday was such a beautiful day. But it has not stopped raining since we left the viaduct. Nonetheless, getting to see the steam train this morning was a big plus for us. We're en route to our campsite, but we are just driving through now the Glencoe Valley, and we'd read that it was meant to be beautiful, and it definitely is. The mountains just surrounding, well, it's a valley, so, but the mountains surrounding this road are absolutely incredible. It's stopped raining and it's cleared up a little bit. It looks pretty spectacular, and I can understand why this is meant to be like one of the best drives or the best freeways in all of the UK.
Guys, we've stopped off at the Three Sisters lookout, but before we have a look at the lookout, I want to show you some, in my opinion, elite parking. Wow, how does she do it? With lots of help from Stace. Stace is eating a sandwich in the car. But I was desperate to stop at this lookout because we went to the Three Sisters in Canada. If you haven't seen those videos, we'll link them down in the description and in the pinned comment below. One of my favorite videos for sure. I don't think these Three Sisters are going to be as grand in terms of size, potentially also in terms of view because the clouds currently covering one of the sisters, but hey, it's still pretty cool. And just like that, guys, we have arrived at our final campsite for the trip. It's called Witches Craig, and it is one of the coolest, if not the coolest, caravan parks we've stayed at on this trip. The scenery behind me is pretty incredible. You've got these kind of big mountain ridges, and then we've got some sheep just in front of the caravan here. They came and said hello as we pulled up. So we're going to set everything up, turn on the gas, attach the caravan to the electricity, and then we're going to start cooking our final meal in Scotland. It's been really fun.
Starting with tortellini and ending with tortellini. Just the way we like it. And just like that, our van life in Scotland has come to an end. We are on our way back to drop our van off, sadly, and hop on a plane today. We had the most incredible time in the van, but also just generally here in Scotland. It is such a beautiful country and we could not recommend it more. If you enjoyed our van life series, let's just say we might have another one coming very, very soon. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and YouTube thinks you should watch this video next. Bye. Bye. Not yet. Yeah. Oh, I miss you.